After years of chasing what most would call the American dream,
we knew there had to be more adventure out there.
That's why we decided to sell it all and live life differently.
Our family has spent the last 2 years traveling the United States as nomads,
Meaning we never stay in one place for too long,
experiencing as much as possible,
and learning all along the way that change doesn't equal failure,
and different doesn't equal wrong.
and we call that embracing your
Adventurous spirit.
Welcome back to the Adventurous Spirit podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Chris, and this over here is the Jenny to my Forrest Gump, my wife, Noelle.
Sup, yo.
We are so glad you tuned in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button wherever you like to consume your podcasts, because we're bringing you a brand new episode every Wednesday.
We really are.
So join the family. Follow along. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok over at The Adventurous Spirit with one S, as well as on Facebook and YouTube at The Adventurous Spirit with two S's, so you can see just how fashionable we can be. Looks like someone's decorated over there.
Just a little decorated.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah, talk about these a little later.
And we do have an amazing show for you today. So,
We really do.
Noelle, what's going on?
Woo! Well, what a great show we have indeed. Today we're going to get physical, and we're going to take you along a half marathon that I ran in my sandals.
I still can't believe it.
That's right. I ran 13.2 miles in sandals for the second time, actually, and I have a lot to say. Surprise, surprise. I'm not a runner, but these half marathon experiences have been life-changing for so many reasons. But first, do you smell that?
Oh my gosh.
What's burning?
What's burning?
What's burning? The part of the show where we discuss hot topics and burning questions. And today we're talking about running statistics.
Running.
Oh,
I just felt like running.
Did you know that it just clicked though for me why you introduced me as the Jenny? And now I'm thinking, this man's a genius. He's an absolute genius. Can I also take this moment to say that I'm so in love with you?
Take your time.
I'm so in love with you.
Say your piece.
Do you know that I am so in love with this man?
Okay, well.
We can turn this episode into explicit content just for the sake of me trying to explain how much I absolutely love you.
Well, we're talking about running.
I just felt like running. But did you ever wonder what percentage of the population actually participates in marathons and half marathons across the world? Or which country has the slowest and fastest humans alive? Well, we're going to cover some very interesting and intriguing running statistics with you today, because I actually ran one yesterday. And how have I been getting around?
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's difficult to use my legs, but my feet are not sore. Once again, my feet are not sore.
Surprisingly, right?
It's just them quads, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I ran one yesterday, and we'll discuss that later in our show in our Let's Get Physical segment. So let's get into some interesting global running statistics.
Yeah, who's actually running for fun nowadays?
I know. I used to really have such a snobby, snooty opinion about people who participated in these, because I've never enjoyed running. Never, ever, ever.
And it always seems like something that's like, if I want to run this marathon, I have to think about it 9 months in advance. And that's when I should start, getting up at the crack of dawn and running for 10 miles a day. It's like extreme, like Rocky Balboa training montages that have to happen, right?
Right. And that's what it seems.
You're breaking that mold, I guess.
Breaking that stigma, right? Because to be truthful and to be honest, it's like I really didn't train for either of these that I participated in.
She's not a runner, folks.
I'm not, and I've never really enjoyed it, but I enjoy the experience of these. I enjoy, once again, we've kind of talked about it on this show before when it came to cold plunging, but I enjoy doing things where you are your only competition, where your mind is the thing that you have to overcome, and participating in a half marathon is no different.
Yeah, that's the cool part about it, right? You don't have to worry about winning.
No.
You just have to worry about completing a challenge. And
You don't have to worry about winning. You just have to worry about running.
you don't have to run the whole time.
You don't, and I don't. It's a combination of running and walking and just keeping going. All you're doing is moving your body until you cross the finish line, and eventually you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Even if you cross that finish line last, you showed up, you participated, and you moved your body the same amount of distance as everybody else.
Yeah, and in some countries and some, cultures, they like to running is a huge part of it. Talking about fastest country, who out there takes it the serious?
Yeah, so it looks like the fastest humans alive live in Switzerland.
Really?
They have the fastest marathon runners in the world with an average finish time of 3 hours and 50 minutes. Now that's average.
The Swiss, huh?
The Swiss are the fastest humans, and coming in as the slowest humans alive are the people in the Philippines. They have the slowest marathon runners in the world with an average finish time of 5 hours and 25 minutes.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, almost a 2 hour difference, but
on average.
But hey, they're getting across the finish line just the same, right?
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I mean, if you think about those two different kind of populations, you do have two very differently built types of humans, right? Typically.
Yeah, Filipinos aren't known for being the tallest people in the world, so
smaller,
shorter legs on average probably means shorter stride, which means,
on average, right? We're talking about averages here, not saying across the board, but that is just a very interesting statistic to fall under.
But I feel like being generally small and lighter, that I feel like you're built for like endurance running.
That's true.
Hey, I mean, the rules are the rules, I guess.
The statistics don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Or do they?
Or sometimes.
I don't know. Never trusted 9.
9?
9.
Never trust a 9?
I don't know. Just seems a little untrustworthy, What are you doing? Upside down 6? Like 6 came first, and now you're just trying to do something?
What else?
So the fastest humans alive apparently come from Switzerland, and the slowest humans alive come from the Philippines. Very, very interesting. Now, when we talk about how many people in the world are actually participating in these, the numbers are shockingly low. Shockingly low. It says that only 2.1 million people have participated in some sort of half marathon or marathon. And when you consider that the world population is over 8 billion, if you do the math, that comes out to 0.02% of the entire world population. Has ever completed a half marathon. It says here that only 0.1% of the U.S. population, which is 328,000 people, even participates in races across the board. And that's 5K, 10K, half marathon.
Combined? Mm-hmm. That's crazy, because you always see like these, like the New York Marathon, the Boston Marathon, and there's looks like hundreds of thousands of people. And I guess that's everybody. Like, it's the same group running every time.
That's an interesting statistic too, because it's kind of like in these statistics, there's a lot of just repeat offenders.
Yeah, I mean, people are like career marathon runners. Mm-hmm. Running really is a sport that, culminates to like these big marathons where you train all year long, like I said, and you take it really seriously and you get sponsorships and all this stuff.
Which is great for people who are wanting to compete for time. I'm just somebody who's not competing for time. I'm competing for completion.
I'm not trying to run 26 miles straight.
Yeah.
Like ever. It'd be cool if I could, but man, that takes a lifetime of commitment.
Yeah. I mean, even after completing 2 half marathons, the thought of going and having to do it all over again, it does seem daunting. I don't know if I would ever get to a point where
You've done 2 halves. Imagine both those days are one day, and you do it a couple times a year, probably.
Yeah.
Or more. I mean, that is just a physical feat to be acknowledged. And I think the reason why these numbers are so shockingly low, but honestly, when I found out about this statistic, it was kind of one of the reasons why I just wanted to do one, because the fact that, what is it? It would be 99.8
no, 99.98% of the world has never done this. Like, sign me up. I want to be part of that 0.02%. You know, if I can't be the top 1% financially, I'd like to be the top 1% in some cases.
You do like your secret clubs.
I like my secret clubs. I like feeling like I have
It's a cool club to be in.
I have a perspective that not a lot of people have. I think that's worth its weight in gold. And so again, hearing that statistic was like, oh yeah, well, I'll do it.
Well, like you said, it's a sport you don't have to train to be the best at. You know, you don't have to like go pro or anything. It's purely just a mental and physical challenge on yourself, and you just got to go for it.
Right. And it is. It's a pretty cool feeling. I'm not going to lie. Let's get into some other interesting statistics regarding running. And that's the cost of what all these different races on average are costing people. Because it is an event, there are a lot of financial things that go into the background. And I would even say, as somebody who's completed 2 of these now, the money exchange also keeps you accountable. You know, it's like
you got to pay for it.
It's like I paid for it, so I got to show up.
Put your money where your mouth is a little bit, right?
Right. So the average cost of a 5K was around $28. The average price of a 10K, $36. The average price of a half marathon is $64. And the average price of a marathon is around $92.
Yeah, you're basically paying for the cool medallion that you get,
the swag.
Right?
And well, I mean, you get a shirt. I've gotten 2 shirts
some nice
and
shirts.
2 medals and an experience of a lifetime.
Where do you
honestly.
get those round stickers that say like 13.1?
I don't know.
You always see those in the back of everyone's Toyota Tacoma.
Oh, yes. I don't know. I don't
Figured
have
they'd
one.
be handing those out because I'm like, where else can you buy that? But that's like the only way to really tell people what you've done is to put that you've seen it before, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I remember not knowing what that used to mean. Like, why does everyone have these like random decimal numbers on their car? And you realize, oh, it means they ran a marathon.
And now you know that means they're telling you, I'm part of that 0.02%, bitches.
You got to earn that sticker.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to buy them. I guess you have to, maybe on your 3rd one, they tell you where you can buy those.
Maybe.
Here's a link to Amazon.
The Underground's sticker club or something.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, girl. So let's talk about how fast people are actually completing these half marathons. Even though I'm not trying to go for it with time, I will say I did beat myself by like 34 minutes, I think. This time I completed it in just about 3 hours. My first time it was 3.5 hours. But these people who are competing for times are blowing that time out of the water. So the average half marathon time for women around the world is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
And the average half marathon time for men around the world is 1 hour and 48 minutes.
You should not be ashamed of your time at all, considering, you know, in order to train for this, you ran around the block twice.
Yeah.
You know, in your sweatpants. And then
true story.
And you're like, okay, I got it.
Let's do this thing. 13 miles. Let's go.
Let me get my sandals.
Let me just pack my sandals and start running.
I remember Mr. Beast did a video where he did a full marathon wearing the world's biggest shoes. So he had these comically large, like literally like 3 foot long, like Ronald McDonald shoes, and he barely walk. So it's like from the very get-go.
Oh my gosh, they did that?
It took him like 20 minutes just to get from where he started to cross the start line. So they were already like tired by the time they even crossed the official start line, because it was a big marathon, like thousands of people. And it took them like 4 days.
Whoa.
You know, every day where they went
it's
and like
Mr. Beast.
They went and like slept and stuff, but then he came back to the spot that he had stopped at the previous day and kept going, and basically had to like clown walk for an entire
26 miles.
But classic Mr. Beast, right?
Oh, Jimmy, you're just doing all those things, aren't you?
He knew it would work, so it's like we gotta film this.
And we just love
Can't
watching
fake
it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I was going to say earlier is, these big events where you're thinking like there's so many people participating, but I think It's like the largest marathons that are happening, you're talking about between 1,000 to 5,000 participants, which, yes.
That's a lot of people if you look at it in the street,
But on a global level,
it's like nobody.
It's barely a handful, a drop in the bucket. We talk about with money, the difference of $1 million and $1 billion. It's almost inconceivable. So think about that difference between 2 million people and 8 billion people. That is a ginormous difference.
Yeah, the New York Marathon, every year on average, approximately 50,000 people.
Oh, that was a lot larger scale than I was thinking. I was thinking for some reason the Boston Marathon only had like 5,000 people. Look at the Boston Marathon.
The Boston Marathon?
Because now I'm thinking it's probably closer to that 50,000 mark.
About 30,000.
Okay.
So I always thought that one was probably bigger, but New York does everything.
New York
Everybody
wins.
goes to New York to do stuff.
So 30 to 50,000 people.
Those are the biggest ones, I'm assuming. I don't know any other ones.
I mean, there's a lot of other...
Tons of marathons, but none. I don't think anyone's getting close to the 30 to 50,000.
That's the largest scale. But again, when you think about 30 to 50,000 people coming together, that's still not a lot when you consider the entire world population.
Yeah.
Perception, right? It's like when you're there with all these people, you're like, oh my gosh, like everybody's doing this.
Considering it's the only way that humans could get around for millennia, we haven't been like using transportation for super long. So it's kind of like, once we figured out we don't have to walk and run everywhere to get somewhere, it's like that was the first thing we were like, okay, bye evolution. Like we don't run anymore. So now it's purely like a very niche sport for the very few people that like to run any kind of vast distance. Like no one does it anymore. But back in the day, if you wanted to get 10 miles away, you had to go. You had to walk.
Yeah.
You had to run.
Now only 0.02% of us. That's right. I said us.
Good. Yeah, you're in
are
the club.
participating. I'm in the club.
I hear your medals clanking over there.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep them still, but it's like
athletic cowgirl over here.
It does sound like cowbells. It's one thing to talk about running one of these crazy distances, but let's see what it's actually like to complete one of these things.
You took a camera along with you.
I documented the entire experience.
Let's see what the true actual process is running an entire half marathon.
Yes. Now, I'm not a professional runner or anything, so here's definitely an amateur experience. But what that means is that I believe you can do anything you set your mind to. So let's get physical. Okay, so we are here at the Mariposa Basin Park. I'm about to check in for this Chilly Willy half marathon. But before I go check in, I'm going to take my CBD oil by Onyx and Rose. This will just help aid in my muscle recovery. It will prevent me from probably being less sore than almost everybody else here that I'm participating with. But we're gonna start with some CBD oil before we get checked in and stretched and warmed up. Started walking to shed some layers. We just parted with the 5Ks and 10Kers. And we're keeping going for that half. Am I going the right way? Yeah. Right? Okay. Okay. Almost to the halfway point. That means all I have to do is what I just did one more time, and I'm done. 13.2 miles. Let's make it to this halfway point first. The post-nasal drip is real. Especially when you were like just sick the week before running. Oh, this is only my second half marathon. And I've just been getting over being sick both times. Oh, a good song just came on. We're gonna jam.
Everything is boring. Wake up and I'm snoring. I think I could die right here, right now. Woo! We're still running!
Good.
Love it when people do that. Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. Well, now that we're like 7 miles into this half, I think maybe it's time I tell you what kind of shoes I'm wearing. I'm wearing sandals, but not just any sandals. Earth Runners. Thank you. That's right, Earth Runners. The shoe designed for the minimalist, designed by primitive experts. Oh, they'll change your life. I bet you anything, my feet aren't gonna be sore after today. My spinal alignment's on point. So connected to the earth. Get yourself a pair of Earth Runners. You can also get 10% off by using code 10adventure at checkout. Go get yourself a pair. And besides running 2 half miles in my Earth Runners, I also hiked over 8 miles in Washington to Lake Kolchak. If you haven't seen that video, check it out right here. One of the most gorgeous places I've ever been. Turn around. And by the way, if nobody's told you today, you're awesome and amazing, and you can do hard things. You really can. Whatever you put your mind to, I believe in you. Here we go. Okay. We got this. No more turning around. Last leg. Last leg. And then guess what? We did it. You and I, we did this. A half marathon. 13.2 miles. We got this. We got this. Let's finish strong. Good job, keep going. Oh, look at those purple mountains. Majesty out there. Those Sandia peaks. Glorious. What a beautiful day to be alive, am I right? Good job, keep going. Good job, you got it. We're still going. We're feeling it. We're really feeling it. But we're still going. Always keep going. Woo! Gonna cross the finish line soon. You ready? I am. Oh my God.
Did it. Good job. You got it. You showed up. That's the hardest part.
Woo. Let's go get some brunch.
Ooh, yeah. I feel so cool with my 2 medals and super proud that my Earth Runners carried me through both of these.
You did it, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It looked like you had fun too.
It was a lot of fun. It's the experiences and the first experience that has made me to even want to come back. It's a really, really rad experience because I feel like what it is that everyone realizes is that, and this can go across a lot of different things in life. I know you can even agree. We all know that inside our own minds, we are our own worst enemy. And everyone's struggling. We're struggling with something and we're all out there trying to move our bodies, struggling. And it's you recognize and you can see that other person from the outside. And it's from the outside, you're doing a great and amazing job. Look at you here showing up, running. And so everybody acknowledges that we know that inside right now, it's really dark. But so like everyone else around you is like showing you what it's like to be that observer of being like, I see you, like, and you're doing a great job no matter what you're doing. Like you're showing up and you're doing it.
Yeah, you don't show up to something like that on accident or because of a dare or something. Well, maybe you could, but
You know what other realization I came to while I was running this half marathon yesterday? At this specific event, there was people there running a 5K, a 10K, and a half marathon. So at some point during the course, it was like the 5Kers and 10Kers turned around, and then like the course extended for the half marathoners.
so you are shorter distances for depending on what you signed up for.
Exactly.
So it's like you just keep going.
Well, yeah.
through the
So our
course.
course is extended.
But you're not separated, right? Everybody's running on the same trail. It's just various stopping points.
Right. So we're at the half marathon and there's a point where they turn around, but we have to like keep going on the half marathon track. And so I came to this realization. It was just kind of a really interesting metaphor to experience. And that's like, what is the only difference between these people here running a half marathon and these people running the 5K and 10K? And the only difference is that we just kept going. And I had this big revelation yesterday, and I just held on to that because we talk about it a lot. We tell you guys a lot on our socials, like our daily inspiration that we give you is to just keep going, because there's a lot of situations in life that feel really hard to keep going. But if you just keep going, it will set you apart from most everyone else. Like that's the only difference, is just keep going. So I don't know. That was my big takeaway from yesterday. What could set you apart from somebody else? Well, the fact that somebody else stops and someone else keeps going.
Yeah.
And again, if you want to save 10% on your own pair of Earth Runners, you can use code 10adventure at checkout.
They're really nice. I wear them religiously. They're super comfortable. And I was a naysayer. When you first got them, you were swearing up and down, like, these are really nice. They're super comfortable. I love hiking in them. Like, it doesn't hurt my feet. Like, everything's great. And I did not believe you at all.
He really was such a hater at first.
To where I was like, you know what? I have to try them for myself. And instantly I ate my words. They're so comfortable, and there's like, once you get used to them, there is a little bit of a break-in process, getting used to the straps on your feet. I'm not a huge fan.
It's not even the soles of your feet that have to break in. It's just like figuring out the straps.
It made me enjoy walking around. We were in Yosemite when I first got mine, and I remember just walking around the campground, and I was like, I want to keep going. I want to keep going, just because it felt good to walk. Like, you can feel your feet behaving and responding to the ground like they're supposed to. Hiking on rocky surfaces, it actually feels good. Like, you told me that I was going to do this, and it was true. When you're walking around like on a trail, you see like roots and rocks and stuff, and you'll start purposely stepping on the little rocks because it kind of massages your foot a little bit. It's like a little, ooh, that felt good.
Pressure points.
Very few times did I ever step on anything and it hurt my foot. So as a hiking shoe, that's when I like wearing mine the most.
Yeah, because I remember when I first got it, telling you before I converted you, was that it feels like you're discovering walking all over again, from being someone in a culture, all of us, I'm talking to everyone who grew up with shoes, closed-toed shoes and high heels and a bunch of padding, and like, this is what we believe shoes are.
Even quote unquote like performance shoes, like your Nikes and Adidas, like these really super engineered fat heel, like, foam, whatever you want to do type of shoe. That's all out the window.
It's like you're conditioned to think what it's like to walk. Like, and this is what walking has been like up until now. And then you're just kind of like, it's like mind blown. It's like, whoa, this is what the ground feels like. And like I said, it just feels like your body
naturally knows what to do. Your feet are pretty agile. You realize how much work your foot is doing every step. Like, when you feel your toes like push against the ground when you take a step, or if you run, like, or hike, like, it just, when you're climbing up a steep incline or something, you realize how much you need that like freedom to move your toes around. And most shoes don't give you that.
Capable.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use.
I feel way more confident, other than the fact that your foot's kind of exposed to like getting scraped or something stepping on your foot or something. Like, there is that, but overall, it's like you feel way more secure.
Well, and then that reminds me, a big difference between these 2 half marathons that I ran in my Earth Runners was the terrain, because the Joshua Tree half marathon that I ran a year ago was rated as like a high difficulty course because it was on sand.
So much sandy spots, right?
A lot of sandy spots. So it's like, oh, this is really difficult terrain. And then the Chilly Willy that I just ran yesterday was labeled as like a super easy terrain because it was all pavement.
Right.
But here's the big difference that I experienced by the only person at these events wearing sandals, wearing my Earth Runners, is that the Joshua Tree event was much easier on my body. Felt so much easier.
You
because
liked running through the sandy bits, right?
I was just like bouncing all over the place, like like getting out of all these sand pockets.
It's like being on the beach barefoot versus in flip-flops.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to feel the sand moving around in my feet, and you actually had better traction than people in like nice running shoes,
just
right?
Way better. And then when I ran this Chilly Willy yesterday, it did feel harder. Like just that impact is so much more difficult. So that's where your performance shoe and your Earth Runners are different. But I would much rather enjoy just like floating and dancing on a natural terrain than asphalt.
Even though those are considered sandals, they're better off the beaten path.
Off the beaten path.
Right.
You can go anywhere in those things.
I love them.
Anywhere. We're not just like saying this, you guys. These shoes changed our life. So we're sharing that crazy experience with you because it was.
I got them. We got some for Casey, and as soon
Casey
as,
wears them
as soon
all
as
the
Kate's
time.
big enough,
Yeah.
he would love those.
He's still got little feet.
He's too tiny.
Boo!
Huh?
We've reached the end of today's episode.
What?
But that never means the adventures do.
Better not.
So make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the family. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss the Adventurous Spirit show next week. And remember, adventure is out there, so go on and embrace your adventurous spirit. See you on the next one. Woo.
You need to go take a bath.
Yes, please. An ice bath.
Can you stand up?
I think so.
Okay.
I might need your help, though.
Later.
Bye.